Kwesi Adofo-Mensah talked about the Vikings potentially trading up for a quarterback at his press conference today, and this is what he says. He says, as we enter this draft, we have the flexibility to go either way. If the opportunity comes to go get our player, we will take it. If it is not available, we will continue to build around. So it seems like Kwesi and this front office are going to be active in getting their guy in this year's NFL draft. I fully expect Minnesota to trade into that top 6 and try to land their guy. Could it be J.J. McCarthy? Could it be Drake May? We will find out soon enough. But if we get any more updates around the Vikings trading up, we will have a video for you guys ASAP. There is no better time to hit that subscribe button right now. The new era in Minnesota. It's going to be a whole new look team. So make sure you lock us in and hit that sub button. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up later on today's show, we're going to get more from Kevin O'Connell's and Cam's press conference after free agency. And then also, did Kirk Cousins snitch on himself and the Falcons possibly getting caught up with tampering? We'll talk about that here later on. But in terms of the Vikings trading up for a quarterback, The Athletic put out a mock draft where they had the Vikings trading up to the 5th overall pick and select, guess who, J.J. McCarthy. So, honestly, I do feel like the Minnesota Vikings, like I've mentioned before, are going to trade up in this year's draft. And if you look at any mock draft that is out there right now, most of them have Minnesota sliding into this top 7 and getting their guy. Well, in this mock draft, it was JJ. And this is what Nick Baumgartner, who is one of the best in the game, one of the best draft analysis we have out there, this is what he had to say about JJ heading to Minnesota. He says the Vikings would be wise to pair McCarthy with a veteran bridge quarterback for at least a year, and they've reportedly landed on Sam Darnold as that option. But they also shouldn't rule out the possibility that McCarthy wins this job in camp. His arm talent, athleticism, and downfield aggressiveness could be a great fit with Kevin O'Connell. The league-wide QB thirst is real. Daniels isn't a top 5 prospect in this class. McCarthy's not a top 10 prospect. But if it's not Minnesota climbing the board to take the Michigan star, it'll be someone else. And I totally agree with everything he's saying. I do think somebody's going to trade up for the Michigan quarterback because the more we go through this draft process, the more these NFL GMs are consistently watching tape on J.J. McCarthy, and once they start meeting him with in person, I really do believe, I can lock it in right now, J.J. McCarthy will be a top 5 pick in this year's draft class. Look at his deep throwing accuracy on the season so far, because the whole narrative is J.J. can't throw the ball deep. Well, he was 25 of 46 this season for over 700 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 1 interception. What's another wrong narrative about J.J. McCarthy? Oh, he's a system pocket quarterback where he can't perform outside of the pocket. He can't make plays. Well, check this out. Completion percentage out of scrambles for all 6 of the main quarterbacks in this year's class. Number 1 by 15% or by 13% is J.J. McCarthy at 71.4 completion percentage out of scrambles. Then you got guys like Bo Nix, Daniels, Williams, May, and Penix follow him. I am a big believer in McCarthy. I think he is the 3rd best quarterback in this year's class. I would rank it Williams, May, and then McCarthy at the 3 spot. You may be saying, that's no way. This guy was a system quarterback at Michigan. Well, why J.J. McCarthy? He was an elite prospect coming out of high school. He was the 5th-ranked QB in his class, a top 40 recruit. He has shown elite athleticism at the combine, having one of the best 3-cone drills we have ever seen. And plus, he is an elite quarterback in terms of intelligence of the game. Peter Schrager put out a report that he said multiple NFL GMs said McCarthy was the best at the whiteboard at the scouting combine, and also adding this point to it, he has won at every level. He was 36-2 in high school as a starter, 29-1 in college as a starter. And I understand QB wins is not, the do-all, tell-all stat for a quarterback, but I do believe that matters. Intangibles with him kind of ties in the winning at every level. I think he has the best intangibles in this class. I think he's a guy that can rally the team and truly kind of get the most out of the players around him and be a true leader. This is the part I love the most, the unknown with McCarthy. He is a true 21-year-old, the youngest quarterback in this year's class. He was kind of honed in and wasn't really able to show off his full ability at Michigan because they were run-first, power-running offense. I think the unknown ability of his dual threat, of him able to push the ball downfield, is why multiple GMs will be interested in trading up for McCarthy. But I'll ask you guys, would you trade up for JJ, the Michigan quarterback? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comment section. If I was watching this, I'd be typing my T for trades. Now, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell, we're talking about Kirk Cousins at the press conference today, just overall going about like what happened and, why they weren't really able to come on a deal. This is what he had to say. He says, there was complete alignment. I think we've been very clear since we've gotten here that we like Kirk Cousins. We've been very clear that we think we could win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins, but we have a sport that only gives you a certain number of draft picks and salary cap competition versus other teams. And I thought this was very interesting on what Kwesi was saying, because we also got this report that the Vikings offered Kirk Cousins a deal during NFL free agency. This is from Diana Rossini. She said that the Vikings submitted an offer to Kirk. Kirk wasn't too happy with that offer, so we got a bigger one with Atlanta. I said on the channel multiple times, I think the Vikings are going to offer him a 2-year, $70 million deal, fully guaranteed. Maybe they did that, and Kirk and his camp weren't too happy. That's why they went inside the 4-year mega deal in Atlanta. But I thought this was pretty cool. This is what Kevin O'Connell had to say about his quarterback. He says, as much as I would have liked to have Kirk here, the right thing moving forward for our team is where we are today. And I totally agree with KOC. It was time to move off Kirk Cousins. If he wanted the 4-year, lock me down as the quarterback going for the future deal, the Vikings need to go the other way. I am super excited and super optimistic of where the Vikings are right now. I'm just excited to kind of get this kind of new era of Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah forward and really see if they could really kind of sandpaper and groom a young quarterback like a JJ, like a Drake May. It's good times here in Minnesota. I think the Vikings have been completely crushing it this free agency period. But coming up next here, Kirk Cousins had some interesting kind of comments at his press conference that had a lot of people connecting dots that the Falcons potentially could get caught with tampering in this free agency period. Maybe the Vikings could get a draft pick. But I got to ask for your guys' help. We are actually in a subscriber battle with our Falcons Today channel here at Chat Sports. They are just under 20,300 subs. We have a good lead right now, but they're coming. They just got their franchise quarterback. They just got their guy. Fans are excited over there. So if you guys haven't already and like what we do here and want to help me out, I do ask you, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. But this is from Tom Pelissero as he tweeted this early on this morning. He said the NFL is looking into potential tampering by the Eagles and Falcons prior to the start of free agency, as is standard in such matters per league sources. And yes, Kirk Cousins we'll just jump right into it, because Kirk Cousins had this to say at his press conference. And if you guys don't know, tampering rules, you aren't technically allowed to talk to any staff until that Wednesday 3 p.m. time. Well, Kirk Cousins at his press conference said this. He says there's great people here, and it's not just the football team. I mean, looking at the support staff, meeting, calling, yesterday, that's the key. He said yesterday, calling our head athletic trainer, which you're not allowed to do, talking to our head of PR, I'm thinking we got good people here, and that's exciting to be a part of. I think Kirk just got caught up, and he snitched on himself in this situation. And it will be interesting to see how the NFL kind of plays this out, because, realistically, the Falcons are probably going to have to sacrifice a draft pick, in my opinion. I think the NFL, they're kind of sick of the whole tampering nonsense that obviously goes on during free agency. So I could really see the NFL maybe giving up a draft pick for Atlanta, and maybe the Vikings get that. So kind of joking around here, but should the Vikings get the Falcons' 8th overall pick, give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down in the comment section. You better be typing your Ys, because that'll be sick if the Vikings could somehow get their first rounder. Obviously going to have to wait and see, but if that would ever happen, again, guys, make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. This is the #1 channel for you guys to get your updates around the Vikings draft targets and if they are going to trade up in the draft. So hit that sub button, lock us in. See you guys next time. Let's go Vikes.